Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Too Good to Be True podcast. This is your host, Pascal Mayala. Today, we're going to do the NCAA March Madness bracket for the men and for the women. So let's not waste our time. Let's just start right now the bracket. And if you want to follow me on social media, follow me on Instagram, Pascal underscore Mayala underscore 15. Same thing with threads on X formerly Twitter at Belly versus PMM. Don't forget to listen to this podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget also, if you want to see me on visual, see me on my YouTube channel, Too Good to Be True Podcast. Like, notify, leave your comment on the video, and leave your comments on the picture community that I'm always going to post. So let's get started. So let's start with a bracket for the men's college basketball. So the men's going to be pretty much easy for me. So Auburn versus between ALST and SFPA. I pick Auburn. We're gonna start to the south. Louisville versus Crankton. I pick Louisville. Michigan versus UC San Diego. Michigan. Texas A&M. Yale. Easy. I pick Yale. Ole Smith versus between UNC and SDSU. Oh, I'll pick Ole Smith. Iowa State versus Lincoln. Iowa State. Marquette versus New Mexico. I'll pick New Mexico. And Michigan versus Bryan. Michigan State, sorry, versus Bryan. I'll pick Michigan State. To the east right now. Duke versus Emmer or MFM. So Duke. Mississippi State versus Baylor. I'll pick Baylor. Oregon versus Liberty. I pick Oregon. Arizona versus Akron. Arizona. BYU versus VCU. It's gonna be uh BYU. Wisconsin versus Montana. Wisconsin. St. Mary versus Vanderbilt. I pick Vanderbilt. Alabama versus Morrison. I pick Alabama. Let's go to the round 32. Auburn versus Louisville. I pick Auburn. Michigan versus Texas A&M. I'll pick Michigan. Ole Smith versus Iowa State. Ole Smith. Marquette versus Michigan State. I pick Michigan State. Duke versus Baylor. This is going to be a tricky, but I want an upset. I pick Baylor. Oregon versus Arizona. I will pick Oregon. BYU versus Wisconsin. I pick. I pick Wisconsin. Vanderbilt versus Alabama. I will pick Alabama. Now, the sweet. So I went to 32 to sweet. To what? What is it like? To what is it? 32 to Sweet 16. So this is my Sweet 16 for the men right now to South and the East. Baylor versus Oregon. I will pick Oregon. Auburn versus Michigan. I will pick Michigan by default, by a slight. Auburn can take them, but I prefer Michigan to beat Auburn. Ole Smith versus Michigan State. I will pick Michigan State, and I think and we'll talk about later. After a couple of seconds, Wisconsin, Alabama, Alabama. Now, the final round. The final round. Michigan State versus Michigan. I will go with Michigan. Oregon versus Alabama. I will pick Oregon. So those are the final round that I chose. If you look at my bracket, let's go to the top, East. We go down a little bit. going down. So that's my bracket in the South and the East. Now let's go to the West. Let's start to the West. Florida was in Norfolk State, Florida. Yukon, Oklahoma, easy. Yukon. Memphis, Colorado, Memphis. Maryland versus Grand Canyon, Maryland. Missouri versus Drake, Missouri. Texas Tech with the UNC, Texas Tech. Kansas versus Arkansas, I pick Arkansas. And St. John, Omaha, St. John. Now let's go to the Midwest. Houston versus SIUE, Houston. Gonzaga, Georgia, I pick Georgia. Clemson, McNeese, Clemson. Purdue versus High Point, Purdue. Illinois versus Texas Xavier, I pick Illinois. Kentucky, Troy, easy. Kentucky, UCLA, Utah State, UCLA. Tennessee versus Warford, Tennessee. Now let's go to the round 32. Actually, round 32, whatever. Houston, Georgia, I'll pick Georgia. Clemson, Purdue, easy. Clemson. Illinois versus Kentucky, I'll pick Kentucky. UCLA versus Tennessee, UCLA. Let's go up again. Florida versus Yukon, an upset. Florida. Memphis versus Maryland, Maryland. Missouri, Texas Tech, I'll pick Texas Tech. Arkansas versus St. John, I'll pick St. John. Now the Sweet 16. So we got Sweet 16. Florida versus Maryland, Florida. St. John versus Texas Tech, St. John. Georgia versus Clemson, I will pick Georgia. Kentucky versus UCLA. This is where I'll pick UCLA. Now we're going to the final round. Actually, not yet, but the final round. Florida versus St. John. This is going to be a tough one, but I will pick an upset. St. John. Georgia versus UCLA. UCLA, and there's my final four. My final four between Michigan versus St. John, Oregon versus UCLA. I got Michigan beating St. John and Oregon beating UCLA. So this one between Michigan, Oregon, I'll pick Michigan to win this. So that's my bracket, and I'll be back. This is my bracket. Michigan wins it all, and I'll be back in a couple of minutes. Welcome back to my Too Good to Be True podcast. If you haven't seen it, I will post. I didn't really post it yet, but I will post my men and March Madness March. Oh, I can't speak. Uh, I will post the video of the men Madness prediction on my uh on my YouTube channel. So let's get right to it with the woman right now. Let's start with the woman bracket. So let's start. South Carolina, Tennessee. Actually, we start with regional one. Regional one, USCLA with the UCSDO, which is South Carolina. I'll pick UCLA. Richmond with the Georgia Tech. I would go with Georgia Tech. Ole Miss versus Ball State. I'll pick but, only missed. Baylor versus Grand Canyon. Baylor, let's get down again. Florida State versus Jordan Manson. My bad, sorry. I'll pick Florida State. The LSU versus San Diego State. Easy. LSU, my LSU. Harvard versus Michigan State. Michigan State. North Carolina versus Vermont. North Carolina State. Let's go to Regional 2. South Carolina versus Tennessee. Easy. South Carolina. Utah, Indiana. I think I'll pick an upset. I think it go Utah. Alabama, Green Bay. Easy. Alabama. Norfolk versus Maryland. I want to really have upset, but you know what? I'll pick Norfolk State. Norfolk State. West Virginia versus whatever Colorado versus Washington. I'll pick West Virginia. North Carolina versus Oregon State. That's easy. North Carolina. Vanderbilt versus Oregon. I'll pick Vanderbilt. Duke versus Lehigh. I will pick Duke. Now let's go to the regional three. Texas versus whoever come out to this game. Texas. Illinois versus Creighton. Illinois. Tennessee versus South Florida. Tennessee. Ohio State versus Montana State. Ohio State. Michigan versus ESU of Princeton. Michigan. Notre Dame versus SF Austin. Notre Dame. Louisville versus Nebraska. I'll pick Louisville. Actually, you know what? I'll pick Nebraska. Change my mind. Nebraska. TCU versus Fair Dixon. TCU. Now let's go to the regional four. UNC, USC versus UNC. USC. California versus Mississippi. I'll pick Cali. Kansas State versus Fairfield. Kansas State. Kentucky versus Liberty. Kentucky. Iowa versus Murray State. Iowa. I'll pick. You know what? I'll pick an upset. Murray State. Murray State. Oklahoma versus FGCU. Oklahoma. Oklahoma State versus South Dakota. Oklahoma State. And UConn versus Arkansas State. Arkansas. Now let's go up to the what was like 132. UCLA, Georgia Tech. Easy. Ole Miss versus Baylor. South Carolina versus Utah. I'll pick South Carolina all day, all night. Alabama versus Norfolk State. Alabama. Saint Florida State versus LSU. LSU. Michigan State versus North Carolina State. North Carolina State. Oh my bad. West Virginia versus North Carolina. I'll pick West Virginia. Duke versus Vanderbilt. I'll pick. Sorry, but I'll pick Duke. Now let's go down. UNC versus California. UNC. Kansas State versus Kentucky. I'll pick Kansas State. Murray State versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma. UConn versus Oklahoma. Oklahoma State versus UConn. UConn. Michigan versus Notre Dame. I'll pick Notre Dame. Nebraska versus TCU. I'll pick TCU. Texas versus Illinois. Easy. Texas. Tennessee State versus Ohio State. I pick Tennessee. Now in the Sweet 16, this is where it's going to be very interesting. UCLA versus Ole Miss. UCLA. Florida State versus LSU. No, sorry. Yeah, sorry. LSU versus North Carolina State. My bad. LSU. South Carolina versus Alabama. South Carolina. West Virginia versus Duke. I pick West Virginia. Sorry, Duke fan. UNC versus Kansas State versus Kansas State. I got USC. Texas. Actually, Texas versus Tennessee. I pick Texas. UConn versus Oklahoma. Or easy. UConn. Notre Dame versus TCU. This is going to be the money match. The money match. So that money match, I will pick Notre Dame over TCU. Now, this is going to be very hard, the final round. UCLA versus LSU. I want to so badly go to my guess LSU, go with my LSU, but I gotta go with UCLA for that one. I still believe in UCLA. I still believe in my LSU, but UCLA got I don't know what, but I think they got the chance to beat my LSU. But this is from my head. My heart say LSU, but I will go with the head UCLA. South Carolina was West Virginia. I'll go with South Carolina. That's easy. UC, UNC versus UConn. This is also the money match I'm talking about. For that, I will pick USC over UConn. This is my opinion. I don't know why, but I think Juju Watkins will do something special. I tell you right now, Juju Watkins going to do something special. Texas versus Notre Dame. That's also a money match. I can see. I will go with Notre Dame for this one. Now this is my final four. South Carolina versus USC. South Carolina versus Notre Dame and UCLA versus USC. The Battle of California. This is going to be the money match. The Battle of California is going to be. Both games will be interesting, but for me, between UCLA and USC, I think they're getting the revenge. I got USC, Notre Dame versus South Carolina. I think Notre Dame. I think they can dethrone South Carolina. This is my personal opinion. And the final four, who's gonna win this? I mean, you got the girl Hannah Hidalgo versus Juju Watkins. My mind said Notre Dame, but my heart said picking uh, uh, USC. So USC gonna win the women's national title, in my opinion. So that's all for today. Podcast. Make sure to follow me on social media on X, formerly Twitter. Uh, at Belly for the PM. Instagram Pascal underscore Mayala underscore 15. Go to my YouTube channel, Too Good to Be True podcast. Uh, make sure that to subscribe, notify, and leave your comment on your video. Don't forget to listen to it on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast. And that being said, thank you very much, and I'll see you next time.